Hi, I'm Marc Coates. I'm the executive producer on Ori and the Blind Forest.
So Marc, for people who know nothing about Ori and the Blind Forest, tell us a little bit what it's about.
Yeah, sure. So Ori and the Blind Forest is a side-scrolling action-adventure platformer, right? A lot of folks also call this style of game Metroidvania, and so that's also a pretty accurate description of Ori.
We've seen a lot of games, 2D side-scroller Metroidvania games make a comeback. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think a lot of these games kind of harken back to the early classical days of gaming, and there's just something pure about the sort of very responsive, intuitive controls that 2D games can afford you. And a lot of the platforming elements, especially, require like almost pixel-perfect precision, to really feel right. And I think the guys at Moon Studios have really spent a lot of time crafting the game to kind of evoke the memories of those kind of games and kind of modernize them and bring them back to kind of modern day standards in terms of graphical presentation.
Can you talk about what you guys are showing here today?
Yeah, so here today we're showing for the very first time the Forlorn Ruins. And in this area of the game, Ori has a couple of new abilities, but really the theme of the area is gravity. And so what Ori finds himself confronted with is sort of this area that's kind of fallen into ruin. And he needs to carry the source of the magic and the energy that kind of powers the area back to the receptacle that houses this energy, so this light vessel. So Ori picks up the light vessel, and when he picks up the light vessel, it affords him of some things. It enables him to sort of walk up walls, walk along ceilings, and things like this. But it also takes away a little bit because of the added burden. He can't jump quite as high. He can't use his double jump or his bash ability, these sort of things. So as a result, you find yourself in situations where your orientation, because you're upside down or you're walking sideways, is a little bit off. And so when you jump off of something and fall, where you fall isn't necessarily where your mind thinks you're falling or should fall. And so it's kind of is mind bending in a way. And so it's a really interesting play on this overall theme of gravity.
What do you think it is about those mechanics like gravity that have gamers keep coming back for it again and again?
Yeah, well, I think one of the great things about this style of game, the genre of game, Metroidvania-style games, is just there's something really interesting about starting from this more like humble beginnings of only being able to run and maybe jump, and then slowly but surely adding these new capabilities to your character. And as you master those, you can become more and more powerful, and it's super satisfying to then retraverse areas or come up against enemies that you may have faced before with all these new capabilities, and then be able to really dominate and feel superior, right? And the same thing actually can be applied to the design of the levels. So when you gain a new mechanic or a new capability, the levels have been designed in such a way to showcase or to force you to master that new capability and then challenge you in interesting new ways. And so as you make your way through the game, each new area that you get to feels innovative and fresh. And as you sort of complete the area, you feel like this immense feeling of satisfaction and confidence. So I think that just never gets old.
So the game looks gorgeous. Is there any kind of inspirations your team had when designing like how everything would look?
Yeah, so I think Moon Studio has been they've talked about this before. So places like Studio Ghibli, some of the famous anime houses from Japan, even like like Disney, Pixar, this sort of thing. The graphic, sort of the finely handcrafted, almost like hand-drawn look, but yet that combined with this really like silky smooth animation. And a really compelling story, it sort of makes them sort of Disney-esque, if you will. People have described it that way, and it's very flattering, and we're happy to agree to that kind of description.
Now, as much as you can you go into the story, like how well is Ori will start at and where he'll end up going?
Yeah, so I mean, we don't want to give everything away, right? Because a lot of that is about the discovery that you get when you go into the game. But at its base level, if you've seen the announce trailer, it kind of tells a little bit about the origin of Ori. So Ori is this, a sequence of events occurs where Ori kind of comes to life as this, this forest spirit guardian, and then he's taken in by sort of a protector, almost like a mother-like figure. A tragic event then occurs where the world around him becomes decayed and infected, and it also kind of strikes down this guardian character, and so he has to venture out on his own. And so really the story of Ori it's an allegorical tale of self-discovery, self-sacrifice, and you play Ori on this hero journey to sort of fulfill his destiny. Along the way, you meet a rich cast of characters. There's Gumo that we haven't talked a whole lot about, but at first glance, he appears to be sort of like an enemy character, kind of hampering your progress in the game. But later, you find that you have some things in common with him. And then the antagonist that we've shown is Kuro, this sort of owl creature, who, for one reason or another, is quite upset about your journey within the game. And as the story unfolds, you sort of learn why this is kind of taken place. And in your effort to sort of resurrect the world, you learn that also has costs.
And will people be able to play Ori and the Blind Forest?
Oh yeah, we're really excited to announce that here at the event. So Ori will be released on March 11th, 2015, so just a couple of months away now. And we'll be releasing it for $19.99 US.